Let's take a quick look of how we can debug our scripts using Microsoft Visual Studio. So what I have set up here is just a simple scene with a single game object containing this new behavior script component, and to your right I have Visual Studio with said script. So let's say that I want to place a breakpoint on this line. I want to stop the execution of my code right after this assignment to y. So I'm going to place a breakpoint here by clicking in this space dedicated to it. There's a column here in Visual Studio. And then I can click on Attach to Unity. Now you might get a pop-up here saying that the debugger of Visual Studio is being attached to the Unity process. Just click on OK for that. And then I can start it here in the editor. And now here we go. So this component got started after the instantiation of the game object once we run the game. And we can see that, all right, we stopped here and we can monitor the state of our component now. So down here, we can see the local variables in this function. So we have X, Y, and Z. Another way to do so is just to hover over your variables. So X is equal to 1, Y is equal to 2 at this current time in the program. So right before executing Z. So we can see that Z does not have a value. It's set at its default value for ints. Remember in C#, our primitive types have default values, unlike in C or C++, for better or for worse. And here we see X and Y. So we're going to do, well, X plus Y, so that's going to give us a value of 3. Now, remember that in Visual Studio, if we want to continue the execution, we can just click here on continue or press F5 on our keyboard, or we can get more in depth and go line by line from here. So we can actually step into code. We can't really do it here because this is not a very complicated function call. So there's nothing to step into. But if this was a function call, we could step into that function and then look at what's going on in the function and debug that function if need be. And then there's step over and step out. So I won't waste too much of your time. Feel free to try and experiment with continue, step into, step over, and step out by placing breakpoints at a few places in your scripts, just to get a good feel of how to use the debugger. Now I'm going to click continue, and the game keeps running. So it's running right now. We don't see anything, but trust me, it's running. And here, well, we don't call start again. Obviously, it's just called once. So this breakpoint is not hit again. Let's say I am just going to do something a bit silly here in my update. And I'm going to put a breakpoint here after stopping the debugging process. I'm going to attach to Unity once more. I'm going to start it here in the editor. Okay, so I've hit this line. I'm going to click on continue here, or just press F5. And now I hit this line of code. Okay, great. And then I keep pressing F5. Oops, I actually stopped the process here accidentally. Okay, I'm just going to keep clicking on continue. I'm going to see that, well, we keep on hitting this line of code and stopping here for a moment until I click on continue again, because this is an update, and update is called at every frame. So everything seems to be making sense here. The last thing I want to show you in Visual Studio, just to simplify the debugging process, is we can just click on this arrow, click on attach to Unity and play. So from Visual Studio, I can start the debugging process and launch the game in the editor all at once.